a group of protesters were a group of protesters were arrested outside of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's office. They were protesting in relation to the partial government shutdown. Um, and there were several chants. We want our checks, various other words that were used. I chose this story above a couple of other ones that came out today because it's indicative of what I've talked about here, which is that individual members of Congress, since the 116th session of Congress began earlier this month, where McConnell has blocked an effort to reopen the government. And I had said in a video, it was called the True Villain of the Government Shutdown, or something to that effect. This is the person who's actually causing the havoc, more so than Trump, because while Trump is the chief executive, if both chambers pass something and have enough members to override a veto, he's kind of screwed. Um, but no one was talking about him, even though he has this very powerful position that directly is influencing the lives of millions of people, or thousands of people rather. Um, so when I see the protesters come out and go to his office and go after him for playing this complicit role in causing the chaos that is literally destroying people's chances to return to their normal lives or their lives before the shutdown began, it's great. And I guess I oftentimes attack the media and criticize some others for having what I call Trump derangement syndrome, where it seems like they want to cover him so much to such an extent that they forget about other people who are significant that are not him, whether it's a member of Congress like McConnell or some cabinet secretary who's being able to go unabated and doing all the evil, horrible things that people try to accuse Trump of doing when he's just one person. So it's nice. I had an earlier story where they were talking about single payer and you know uh, the polling on that when you say one thing versus the other, and it's one of those things where with this story it's a simultaneous reigniting of my faith in humanity, that you actually can get people who say screw the media's attempts to pin all of this on the executive branch. We have to look at the individual members of Congress and what they're doing to continue this cycle. And I was asked earlier, when do you think it's going to end? I don't know. And that's not because of the position of Trump or the Democrats. It's because McConnell won't let the any of the bills that have been passed in the House come up for a vote in the Senate. So he's the puppet master, and he's been stringing us along this entire last 2 years. I argue he's probably more dangerous than any other Republican, as far as just if you're from a liberal or a progressive or someone that's against the ideas that he espouses or is involved with, because he's the trigger man when it comes to getting these things passed or put up for a vote in the Senate. And you need both branches for something usually to become a law. So he's a very worthy adversary, and I hope that he is defeated next year in these re-election bid, although I doubt it because we can't have nice things. But this protest was great.